Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the 2010 A Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Now, I really dislike this movie. Like, I think most people that are fans of the franchise dislike the film because it's pointless at this. Like, remakes, I don't think you should remake something that's a classic. If something was not broken originally, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know? The original is a classic, a timeless film. And all the reason they brought Freddy back was for a cash grab, basically. Now, let's get into stuff I view as a positive of the film. I like the micro nap approach, so that was kind of creative. That's, pretty. That is a pretty interesting approach to the story. But that's really the only. I mean, Jackie, like I said in the last in an upcoming video, I'll be posting soon. Jackie Earl Haley, I think that's a decent job. He tries to add some stuff that he knew he couldn't replace Robert Englund, so he tried to make his own different version of the character, which I respect. But his script was like dog crap. I don't even know who gave him that script. Obviously the director. I don't know who wrote it. There's probably a writer out there. I'm not going to look that up. But now we talk about the biggest negatives. So this film, obviously, it's probably been talked about. They went the route of turning Freddy into a PDF file instead of just being a child murderer like he is in the original franchise. And that kind of makes the question: why did he have the boiler room and the finger knives if he was just a pedophile? Because we see him with the kids working at the school when all the kids at the preschool they were like young and stuff. He never killed any of them when he did stuff to him. So that doesn't really explain why he becomes a dream demon. The reason why Freddy was a sadistic, masochist who murdered children. That's why the dream demons, I believe, came from him, because he caused a lot of pain when he died. There's a whole lore to that. The dream demons, those worm-looking things, and Freddy's dead. But anyways, it doesn't explain it. And then one of my biggest pet peeves is Nancy's actor, Rooney Mara. I think she's publicly stated she hated this film back then, being a part of it. So the theory goes she sabotaged, and it's pretty easy. You can tell she gives no strength, no real character to Nancy. She just doesn't give a crap the whole film. You can tell it. I don't even think she's a bad actor, but I think this film she hated it so much. She's like, I'm not even gonna try to act for this film. And it shows. If you compare the 2010 Nancy to the original's Nancy, it's like a big it's a drop. It's like if Nancy's at the top in the sky, if Heather Langenkamp's at the top of the sky, Rooney Mara is in the pits of the earth, into a freaking hole or something. That is the acting difference between the two. If you look at Heather Langenkamp, she gives so much feistiness, resourcefulness, strength. She doesn't run from Freddy; she hunts him. She had charisma. Rooney Mara just looks like she looks blank faced, that she doesn't care. So that was also kind of a dumb move, calling her Nancy, because I think all their characters they're named after people in the series, in the future parts of the series. I think the Tina of this film is named Chris. I think that might be a reference to Kristen. And then you got Jesse, her boyfriend. So that's the new Rod in the remake. Then you got Quentin instead of Glenn for Nancy. So I don't know why they named her Nancy, because for every Elm Street fan, Heather Langenkamp, the original Nancy, is Nancy. You're not going to be able to replace her. That was just a dumb decision. Maybe make her a new character. You could have made a new character called some new name or something. So next is just the makeup too for Freddy. I know they were going for more of a burnt look, like a real life burn victim, and not like Freddy's original design. but it's less scary. I mean, I think Jackie Earle Haley tried with his performance. He tried to do a scary, do a scary Freddy, which I will say this, I think he does a good job doing it. It's a lot scarier in this film, but if I want a scary Freddy, I'm gonna go watch Freddy's Revenge, even the original. I'm not gonna watch the remake, and that's like the remake has no place in the franchise with the fans. I'm sure it has its fans, and if you love it, more to you, I respect your opinion. But I don't love it. I genuinely think this is the worst film in the franchise. Worse than Freddy's Dead. As much as I thought Freddy's Dead was trash, and it is trash, it at least tries to do something with the whole Maggie subplot. This film also tries to do the whole, micro-nap thing, which I said was cool earlier. It's so minuscule. It's pretty rough when you look at them, because this movie is shot better. It's not as goofy looking as Freddy's Dead, but it's still worse. I am actually, glad that this is not the movie I watched first. I don't think I watched this film until I watched the original series. And I was already in pre-notion that I disliked this movie. I went into it, I tried to watch it, and it's just boring. And it's sad. I've noticed on TV, you see this one being shown more than the original on some channels. I don't know if it's everybody, it's just my local stations. Or not local stations, but I'll see Sci-Fi and channels like that will have it on more than the original. So, if you want to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, just watch the original. And the third, fourth, the second, New Nightmare, watch those. Don't watch this. Because, to me, this movie is just a cash grab. The year before, they made the Friday the 13th remake, which I will say this, turned out better. I used to have a worse opinion, I used to have a bad opinion on that movie, but as I've watched it more, I never really had the opinion where I hated it, or strongly disliked it. I strongly dislike this film. Strongly dislike. So normally, I try to hate anything. But for media, this movie and Freddy's Dead I strongly dislike. I strongly dislike that film too, Friday the 13th remake. But then I realized it tries to do something new with making Jason more of a survivalist. This is a cool concept. It tries to do something. I gotta respect that. So that's why I say it's still not my favorite, but I don't really think it's a terrible movie anymore. This movie though, stay away from it. I am glad that Wes's family have the rights again, so they can't let something like this happen. If they want to make a new Fred movie, which I hope not. I think it's time to let the series rest. But if they were, I'm so thankful that maybe they'll find somebody that treats this franchise with respect, what it deserves. So, that's basically it. This is my last review, because soon, very soon, we're going to go to a camp. Camp Crystal Lake. For the Friday the 13th reviews. And then I'll cover Freddy vs. Jason towards the end of that review series. Well, thank you guys. Truthfully, this has been a really enjoyable series doing. And it's you guys who make me the reason why I do these things. For the franchise. These franchises I review. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Take